When we think about computer crime issues and exposures, there are three things I look at when I think about computer crime, and here's what they are. The computer crime could be, and if I look at it from the aspect of a computer, it could have been the device that was used to commit the crime. It could have evidence of the crime, or it could be the fruits of the crime. Now, the first one, everybody's with me on, right? I got the computer, I hacked into your network, so I used it to commit the crime. The evidence of the crime, well, maybe I downloaded documents from your company. Now they're stored on my hard drive. That means I have evidence of the crime. Or, you know, I many years ago, a couple of decades ago, I got to help with a case of counterfeiting. And, you know, evidence of the crime was on that system, right? It was plain as could be. It was counterfeit $20 bills that were scanned, photographed on a color copier at the time that had evidence of the crime. It could have also been the fruits of the crime. Now, the fruits of the crime, you know, we talk about the stories about this FBI agent who had their laptop stolen. All right, you're walking down the street and you've got the FBI's laptop in your hand. You are holding the fruits of the crime. Now, trusted businesses, when we think about, you know, what we're looking at, and we think about the computer crimes, we have to look and think about what could happen to us. Well, number one, financial loss, right? Computer crime leads to that. Legal repercussions, maybe loss of credibility. Well, some people use the benefits, the stuff they gather from you as blackmail or industrial espionage, even into the organized crime world. Now, the blackmail is interesting, right? Because blackmail is sort of like, I call you and say, hey, I just hacked your database. I have all 300,000 of your customers and their credit cards, and I'm about to go put them into the black market. Unless you pay me $1 million. Pay me $1 million, I'll just pretend I never saw them, right? Kind of a blackmail thing. It could be used to disclose confidential or embarrassing information. Well, we saw that many times, right? There was a whole discourse about hackers breaking into some email of an environmental scientists organization over in England and stealing all their emails and putting them out. We know WikiLeaks is all about this release of embarrassing information. So that's another thing that we have to be worried about. And, of course, we also could just be plain old sabotage, people coming against your company. Now, the perpetrators of crimes can be categorized in the following ways. Hackers or crackers. Now, here's the thing. The hacker term was good. It really was. That meant it was a person that had a lot of knowledge about certain areas, so much knowledge that they understood the weaknesses, and they utilized that knowledge to make it stronger. They didn't do it for personal gain. The people who did that were crackers. Now, unfortunately, that also has a racial connotation, so we don't hear that being used in Hollywood. They started calling everything hackers, and so now hackers are the evil, bad people. But either way, we've got, you know, the terms that we use. Script kiddies. Script kiddies are people who have absolutely no knowledge about what's happening, how things work in the network world. They know they downloaded, you know, this Attacker's Toolkit 101, and it had a button that said, you know, type in the website you don't like and press kill. So they type it in, they click on kill, and boom, out it goes, right? They're doing something. They're using software and tools with no understanding about the process. Again, I've already talked about crackers, of course. Employees. Employees can be the ones that are perpetrators of crime. It could be a disgruntled employee who's unhappy and upset. It could be one who's, you know, just participating in some sort of fraud, embezzlement. It could be your IS personnel as far as the employees or end users. It could even be former employees, people with a grudge, right? You just let them go, and now they're out there and they're going to get revenge. They're going to show you how important they were and why you should have kept them. It could be interested or educated outsiders. All right. You know, certainly outsiders are what we think of most often for attacks, and they might be, you know, even more than that. Sometimes it's just for fame, right? They want to get in and say, yeah, I hacked the FBI. By the way, please don't take that soundbite snippet and mail it off to the FBI. It was just an example. Part part-time, temporary personnel, obviously, folks that don't have a loyalty to the company. The outside third parties. It could also just be plain old accidental or ignorance about a process that causes damage to your systems. Now, there are all types of computer crimes. I mean, we can almost have a dictionary. Alteration attacks are just that. It could be the defacing of a website, the change of information. Botnet attacks is where people basically make you a part of a large network that does the bidding of the attacker. Brute force attacks are people trying to break in through your passwords by just literally guessing each and every combination of password they could try. A denial of service is the idea that if maybe today's world anyway, it used to be denial of service was the main goal of the attack. Today it's kind of like, if I can't break into your system, I'm going to try to make it so nobody can use it, even legitimate purposes. Eavesdropping onto communications. Eavesdropping can be done over, on your PBX, your phone lines. It can be done over the network. We use things like sniffers to be able to capture that traffic. Email bombing, spamming, and spoofing are big ones. Flooding. Flooding is just, kind of a denial of service. Just hitting that network with so much traffic that nothing else legitimate can go down there. Malicious codes, or any other type of malware that can be launched against your systems. A man in the middle, which would be kind of a way of not only sniffing the traffic, but intercepting it, capturing it, copying it, altering it, taking over sessions, session hijacking. Those kinds of things happen with that man in the middle because what they did is they got two endpoints that are talking to each other to go through your system. Masquerading is a way of trying to impersonate a different user account so that you can try to get increased access to some sort of asset. Message modification, that's kind of fun, really, if you think about it. Saw people trying to do this with instant messaging all the time. I'd send and type a message, but there's that person that was intercepting it and changing it, and what came to the other side was certainly not what I sent. Network analysis, right? People are going to watch that network. They're going to try to capture the information, capture the data, maybe change routing information. In many cases, when we try to break the encryption schemes, in order for us to do that, we have to see a large amount of encrypted data to make it easier to break in, and so we have to capture some of that encrypted data and replay it over and over and over again to try to generate more encrypted data. It's called a packet replay. Phishing, of course, is trying to get people to go to what looks like a legitimate website, and it's not, hoping that they'll put in their credentials so we can steal it from them. Piggybacking is a process of basic. Now, I think of that more in the physical realm as far as an attack, where I go to this building and you need a key card to get in, and so the person in front of you puts their card in, the buzzer buzzes, the door opens, and you walk in through their open door. Kind of the same thing can be done with different types of software attachments as well. A race condition. Now that's an interesting thing. A race condition is trying to get processes to run out of order, or basically to get one to run first before the other, right? They're racing. And an example that they always give us is that maybe there is a process where you're trying to do something you're authorized to do, some sort of command, but you also have to get authenticated, and they might be two separate processes. The authentication part and the authorization allow you to do the action. And a race condition would be to try to get the authorization piece to run while it's kind of like waiting for the authentication piece to verify, but try to get it to run and finish before the authentication piece comes in that says, hey, wait a minute, they weren't allowed to do that. Enumeration is a matter of gathering information from my target. It's fun to show people how easy it is to make different types of systems bleed information. I can hit a Windows server, find out all the shared files that it has. Depending on its level of security, I can find out all of its user accounts. So now I know half the ways to break in, because to break in I need a username and password. I can get all the usernames. So that's enumeration. Salami attacks. That's where, you go back to those incidences of embezzlement where I just take the pennies off or the rounding errors off, and I take that little bit of money, those half pennies, and put them into one big account, because a bunch of half pennies in an account get big after a while. Spam, of course, we've seen a lot of that with email. War driving is going around looking for access points, wireless connectivity, to determine if you can get access to a network. We can also walk, or walking. We do that a lot, by the way, in some of our security audits, looking to see if anybody's brought any unauthorized wireless access points. And war chalking, that's where if I am driving around and I see that you have an access point, a wireless network, and you have no security on it, I then write the name of the SSID on there. I have a special symbol I write on your mailbox, or spray paint on your car, I guess, and it's called war chalking.